All right. Today I'm sitting down with our president, Jenn Coker, our senior operations manager, Hailey, and our senior project manager, Holly. We're discussing a massive 60,000 page website redesign and CRM migration that our agency just recently wrapped up in record time. And today, I'd like to discuss with this team what it takes to orchestrate a build of this size, keeping simultaneous teams on task and working in tandem while managing client expectations along with several key stakeholders. That was a lot. To kind of frame this discussion, I think it's fair for us to kind of talk about the project itself. A brief overview. This client's a growing franchise here in the United States, has over 100 territories, and their prior website was 3 different websites kind of melted into one, managed by 3 different agencies. And so taking that and putting that into a manageable one platform solution was our task. Jen, did I miss anything there?
That is the slowest, tiniest way to put that all in one sentence. But yes, that's what we did at the tip of the iceberg there. So.
Awesome. Right. Well, today I'd like to start off operationally how we defined that vision and complex technical needs of this build. Hailey, you are the link between the client's vision and our technical execution. How did you translate Senior Care Authority's complex business needs into a clear scope of work for our teams?
Yeah, I knew that this project was going to be super technical, but I also knew that our team was going to be up to the challenge. It was really great too because we had all of the managers involved, so we were able to get together as a team and kind of walk through every step and be able to break it down more into layman's terms, so that way the team could execute well.
That's awesome. And just so I understand, so everybody else watching, you're managing several teams on several different projects simultaneously to meet a very tight deadline with this customer, and just a little over 3 months. Is that what it was?
Yes, that sounds correct after all the initial discussion.
Okay, excellent. Well, now that you're up here, we obviously had a lot of franchise owners, territory owners here, and key stakeholders involved. How did you help the account management team manage expectations to make everybody feel supported during such a massive transition?
Yes, so we got to work with the VP of marketing on this, and that was wonderful, but also the unique opportunity to join meetings with the stakeholders and the franchisees. So you really got to hear and listen with what they liked on their current site, what they didn't, what was working, what wasn't. And so we took all of that back, worked with the VP of marketing, and ultimately used those conversations along with best SEO and UX to create the sites as they are now.
So I understand, you kind of created the North Star, and then Hailey and her teams executed on that simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, now that the site is live, how does this new platform empower the client to better serve their territory owners to achieve their long-term business goals?
So what's great is that we are adding so many new ways for these franchisees to get leads, to get the revenue that they need, because they're going to be open up to more SEO capabilities based on whether that's all of their services are now listed. They have pages that discuss what they do based on where they are, their territory, their footprint. So it's going to open up so many more avenues. We can also put chat on their site. We can put texting on their site. So I don't like to pick up a phone anymore. I want to be able to contact people the way I want to contact them, and they didn't have that previously.
Great. Well, we're going to transition over to Holly here. Obviously, you're managing a project. I'm sure you're getting kind of direction from Hailey here, and then you're taking that and disseminating to the teams in an organized fashion. Obviously, a project of this scale has hundreds and hundreds of moving parts. How did you manage the workflows to ensure that design and our web development teams stayed perfectly in sync throughout the build?
It was certainly an undertaking. We had regular check-ins with the team to make sure that everyone felt like they knew the direction they were going, made sure we were tackling any curveballs that were thrown our way. And we made sure that there was an open and transparent line of communication between the project management team and the designers and the developers. So if there was any concerns they had with timeline or things that we were trying to squeeze into sprints, that we could discuss those and make sure that things were getting tackled correctly.
That's interesting. You use the word sprints.
Mhm.
I've become a big fan of using sprints and project management. I know as an agency for many, many years, we kind of used the waterfall kind of methodology.
Mhm.
Kind of talk to me about, as we've moved in kind of this kind of waterfall and then kind of agile moving into sprints, how that worked with our teams.
Yeah. The hybrid model, I guess, is like the technical term, allows us to be agile and be able to pivot when we need to pivot, but we still get the organizational parts of the waterfall process. And so I think kind of mirroring those two together gives the teams a structure that they can follow while still feeling like they can bring up ideas or bring up things that we might need to pivot on or change the scope internally if there's like one or two things that we need to kind of tweak.
And yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool, because in this particular project, we had a client that had several technical asks, and we had a lot of data we were bringing over from their CRM, and it wasn't always coming over in the same fashion. So to be able to pivot that quickly and still complete this on time is really a testament to your management skills. Thank you. This will be actually for both of you guys, since you guys are both kind of managing the operational and kind of the entire scope of the project. Large-scale technical projects are notorious for scope creep, and that's something that we as an agency try to keep our pulse on here. What was the key to keeping this massive redesign on track, and more importantly, delivering it on time and on budget?
Yeah, I'll start. We really dialed in on things that were requirements and things that we needed to make sure that we had in order for the site to work properly. And then there were things that were more nice to haves that we could say, we can do this, but maybe we'll do this in phase 2 or phase 3 once we're done with getting the bulk of everything done. And I think leaning on the expertise of our team, because they're all very good at what they do, really helped us decide what we wanted to shift around. And then with input from the client, we were able to keep the scope tight and kind of keep things on the right track.
Great.
Was there anything else?
Definitely echoing what Holly said, and then also weekly checking our budgets just to make sure we're in scope. And then also we had weekly stand-ups with the client as well, just so like Holly said, we could communicate with them the nice to haves, and then what we needed to have for functionality for the site. So
yeah, you guys were managing this project also. Now that I think about it, you guys were managing this during the height of the holiday season. So not only were you guys, I won't say we because it wasn't me, but you guys were managing the client and his employees and vacations on that side and time off, but we were also managing that as an agency here, and to be able to complete that on time was awesome. So, Hailey, since you have the mic here, we'll just continue with you. What does a successful launch of a site this complex say about CityRank's internal processes and our ability to handle enterprise-level digital transformations?
yeah, it's really exciting. And I knew, like I said at the beginning, our team was ready for this challenge. I knew we were always going to be able to complete this, but I think it was nice at the end of it, completing it successfully, our team knowing they can handle projects like this. And also Holly and I knowing that going through the process, it didn't make or break all the other stuff we were doing. So obviously it was a big lift, but it was something that we knew we could do, and now can be even better moving forward for other clients.
Great. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I'm going to do the same thing I've done with everybody else I've kind of talked to about this project. We'll start with Holly here. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we as an agency learned. I've learned a lot of things about, the capabilities of WordPress and more importantly, our development capabilities. But what was one thing that you took from this project that you felt like we can incorporate as an agency, or you with your teams, to facilitate builds better and quicker in the future?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway was the importance of listening to other teams and not letting people get siloed into this one thing that we've defined them as, because everybody has insight. And if you don't listen to what they're saying because they're, just a developer or they're just looking at SEO, then there are things that you can miss. So going forward, I definitely want to take that into other projects and other tasks, and giving everybody more ownership of what we're doing.
Excellent. Well, Hailey, I'll ask the same of you. You had quite a lot to manage, the design and the technical aspects and what Jenn promised the client. So what was your biggest takeaway from the project?
Yeah, I think communicating with the team, and also kind of like Holly said, being able to listen to the team, and like, just because we've done it one way for so many times doesn't mean we can't change that, and figuring out, like, listening to the team, what we need to change for bigger projects, and also just keeping that constant communication with everyone was really helpful.
Excellent. Jenn, I'm going to change up the question a little bit for you.
An answer.
We're going to test your ability to pivot.
I was going to joke, though, because you said what Jenn promised the client. And I was going to say, yes, what I promised the client, what the account managers promised the client, like, it's our job to people please. And so this team over here definitely keeps us in check with the scope creep. So
I think one of the things here that was a particular challenge, at least from my viewpoint, was to be able to manage this complex of a project in a very short timeline. And I think agencies are changing fundamentally right now with AI, and client expectations are changing with AI. I think there's a lot of expectation that you should be able to complete this in a shorter amount of period of time, because AI is somehow going to help make that a reality. We obviously, as an agency, understand that we use AI to make our people better, but kind of tell me about how you were able to manage this project, but maybe some of the tools that we used as an agency to help move this along faster and give your people the tools they needed to complete these tasks on time.
yeah, so for the account management team, obviously AI note taking is a huge gain, right? So while we all have perfect memories, now we have that backup so we can check those notes. We don't have to rely on everything we wrote down or the things that we promised. It's all there. But I will say AI is a great jumping off point. So I always use it to get the processes flowing, but it's always not accurate, right? So you still need that people behind the scenes that are like, that's a good idea, but is that actually going to work? And then test it. Maybe it does. But I found a few times now that it needs some tweaking.
Awesome. Great. Well, I appreciate everybody's time on this, and I'm wildly impressed with the end result, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next time doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.